Hello everyone, you might want to sit down for this. That leftover rice or reheated fish you've been eating, it could actually be making you sick, or worse, leading to serious infections you never saw coming. If you're over 60, watching this video could save you a trip to the hospital or even your life, so hit subscribe to HEALZO and stay one step ahead. Now let's break it down. 3 common foods you should never reheat after 60, and 3 that you absolutely must. Number 1. Rice, the safe staple that isn't so safe. Hi, you probably reheat rice all the time. Leftover rice from dinner, microwaved the next day and called it lunch. Simple, right? But here's the thing, that seemingly harmless bowl of rice can be dangerous, and if you're over 60, it can pose serious health risks. Let me explain. According to the National Health Service in the UK, cooked rice, left at room temperature for more than 2 hours, can grow a type of bacteria that produces toxins. And those toxins are heat resistant. That means that even if you reheat the rice until it's steaming, the toxins won't go away. For someone in their 30s, this might just mean a bad night's sleep. But for older people, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes or kidney problems, the consequences can be severe dehydration, hospitalization, or worse. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that seniors over 60 account for nearly half of all deaths related to foodborne illness. And here's the kicker, rice doesn't smell bad when it goes bad. There's no mold, no weird color. It looks fine, right up until it doesn't. So for better senior health, skip the leftover rice. If you must store it, cool it quickly, refrigerate it within an hour, and reheat it only once thoroughly. Otherwise, be safe. Cook a new batch. If you thought reheating rice was risky, wait until you see what happens with eggs, especially when they've been sitting in your fridge more than once. Number 2. Eggs. When just reading can be damaging. Hey, let me quickly sketch a scenario for you. You made a nice breakfast yesterday. Scrambled eggs, perhaps an omelet with a bit of ham. There were some left over, so of course you saved them for today. You popped them in the microwave, pressed 60 seconds, and voila, you're done, right? Not really. Eggs don't play nice when you reheat them. Under heat, especially the second time, their structure breaks down. That rubbery texture you noticed? Not only is it unpleasant, it's also a worrying sign. Overheating causes chemical changes in the egg's proteins, and those changes can release compounds that can irritate the stomach or, in more serious cases, cause foodborne illness, especially if the eggs have been sitting out too long before being refrigerated. The United States Department of Agriculture recommends cooking eggs to at least 160 degrees F the first time, but here's what they don't emphasize enough. Reheating eggs doesn't sterilize them. If any bacteria have time to grow after cooking, simply reheating them won't make the danger go away. And that's a real problem for senior health. As we age, our digestion slows down, our immunity decreases, and our bodies don't eliminate toxins as easily as they used to. What might be a stomach ache for a young person can turn into a trip to the ER for someone over 60. If you love eggs, and who doesn't, eat them fresh, scramble a fresh batch, or try hard-boiled eggs, which are safer if stored properly. Have you ever noticed that leftover eggs smell weird after reheating? Leave a 2 in the comments if you've experienced it. Let's help each other stay safe. Number 3. Non-oily fish. Looks fine, but it's not safe anymore. Hey, let's talk about leftovers. Maybe you cooked a nice piece of cod or tilapia last night. Maybe you pan-fried it to perfection. You saved the rest for later, wrap it up, and put it in the fridge, thinking it'll be fine to reheat tomorrow. But here's what most people don't realize. Once a lean fish like this cools and sits overnight, its texture starts to change. It becomes dry, brittle, and loses moisture quickly. And when you reheat it, especially in the microwave, it doesn't heat evenly. Some spots are scalding hot, while others are barely hot. That uneven temperature is a big problem. Those cold spots can still harbor bacteria, especially if the fish wasn't stored properly, like if it was left out for more than 2 hours before being refrigerated. And it's not something you can see or smell. It may look good, but that doesn't mean it's safe. Chef Robbie Nicolason, who has worked in seniors' food for years, puts it simply: most leftover whitefish isn't worth keeping. It dries out and becomes risky, especially for older people with digestive or swallowing problems. And for senior health, that's important, because when you're over 60, your body doesn't fight off food illnesses as quickly. What might seem like a minor stomach bug can lead to weakness, dehydration, or even hospitalization. So here's the safer option: eat your fish fresh. If you want to keep it, don't reheat it. Try eating it cold, such as shredded into a salad or mixed with a little light mayonnaise on wholemeal toast. And always refrigerate cooked fish within an hour. The faster you cool it, the safer it is. Have you ever felt different after eating leftover fish? If so, comment 3 and let's talk about it. You're not alone, and a small change like this can make a big difference. So if fish makes you sick, now you know why. And honestly, it's one of the few things we've all reheated without thinking twice. Maybe it's that bowl of rice you always microwave, or that scrambled egg you just tried to stretch out for another meal yesterday. They seem harmless, right? But for those over 60, these little habits can be silently sapping your gut, your energy, even your peace of mind. Sometimes it's not the food itself that's the problem. It's how long it's been sitting out, how unevenly it's reheated, how dry or chewy it becomes, making it hard to chew, hard to swallow, and even harder to digest. That's where the real risks start to build up. So if you've done any of these things lately, don't feel bad. Most of us have. But now is a good time to rethink what's worth keeping and what's safer to let go of. But of course, not all leftovers are off limits. In fact, there are a few foods you should be reheating, not just for taste, but to protect your health, especially after 60. Let's talk about those next. Number 4, deli meats and cold cuts, heat it up or don't eat it cold. Hey, let's talk about something a lot of people over 60 do without thinking: eating cold cuts straight from the fridge. You know the ones: sliced ham, turkey, maybe cold sausage or leftover salami. They look cooked, feel safe, and taste fine. But here's what doesn't show on the label. Those cold cuts can contain bacteria that don't die in the fridge. And when you eat them cold, you're giving them the green light to enter your body. Health experts say people over 60 are at a much higher risk of getting sick from this. Your immune system isn't as strong as it used to be, and when it comes to senior health, even a mild infection can lead to something more serious. But don't worry, the fix is simple. Just heat it up until it's steaming, a minute or 2 in the microwave, or put it in a pan until you see steam rising. That's enough to kill the bacteria and make it safe again. So next time you're making a sandwich or thinking about eating leftover cold sausage, stop, heat it up, protect yourself the easy way. If this surprises you or you've done it before, so if you're being more careful with deli meats now, that same mindset applies to spreads too: soft, moist, and even more deceptive when eaten cold. Number 5, pate or meat spreads. Why cold doesn't always mean safe. Hey everyone, this might surprise you. Most people think of pâté or meat spreads as being eaten cold. That's the appeal, right? Just open the can, spread it on a piece of toast or crackers, and enjoy. No cooking, no waiting. But here's the catch. Once the can is opened, or if the sauce isn't in a vacuum-sealed jar, the rules change. These foods are soft, moist, and high in protein, making them the perfect environment for bacteria to grow. And the problem is, you won't always see or smell that it's gone bad. That's why food safety experts recommend reheating pâté or any meat spread if it's been refrigerated or exposed, not boiling, of course, just until it's steaming hot. It may not be the traditional way to enjoy it, but when it comes to senior health, safety should be a top priority. An open-faced sandwich may be quick, but it shouldn't come at the expense of your health. So if it's not in a sealed jar, or if it's been opened, treat it like any cooked meat. Heat it up a little before eating. Have you ever found a meat spread that tasted a little weird, but ate it anyway? Comment 5 if this makes you rethink that habit. A little heat can go a long way. Number 6. Leftover casseroles. Always reheat every time. Hey, let's talk pot roast for a moment. You know those hearty, comforting dishes like lasagna, shepherd's pie, baked ziti, or cheesy rice. They're delicious, filling, and often made in large batches so you can enjoy them again later. That's the beauty of leftovers, right? But here's the thing that's often overlooked. These types of meals need to be reheated, and not just warmed up, but heated all the way through. Pot roasts are thick. They have layers of meat, sauce, cheese, maybe eggs, rice, or pasta. And because of that, the heat doesn't travel through them quickly or evenly. Even if the edges are bubbling and the top is beautifully golden, the middle can still be lukewarm, the ideal temperature zone for bacteria to grow if it's not heated properly. And here's the thing. When you're over 60, your body doesn't bounce back from foodborne illness as quickly as it used to. One unsafe bite from a cold center can turn into days of fatigue, an upset stomach, or worse. When it comes to senior health, little precautions like these make a real difference. So, what should you do? Always reheat pot roast until it's steaming hot in the center, not just hand warm. Use smaller portions if you're reheating in the microwave, so the heat reaches every part. Stir well when reheating things like baked rice or macaroni and cheese. Cover with foil in the oven so the heat spreads evenly without drawing out the top layer. Pot roasts are made for comfort, not unexpected risks. A few extra minutes of reheating is all it takes to keep them safe and delicious. Tell us, have you ever encountered a pot roast that looks hot but is still cold inside? Comment number 6 if you have experienced that. Many of us have. So not everything in your fridge is ready to eat cold, and for some things, a little extra heating is really important, like deli meats. Just because they've been pre-cooked doesn't mean they're safe to eat straight from the fridge, especially after a few days. Quick reheating until steaming? That's how you avoid potential risks. Same goes for spreads like pâté. They may look and smell fine, but if they're open, soft, and moist, they need to be heated before you eat them. And pot roasts? Don't let the crispy top fool you. The middle of those thick, layered dishes is where the heat takes the longest to reach, and where trouble can still lurk if you don't reheat them thoroughly. And a little extra time in the microwave or oven can... You see, there's a simple kitchen trick that doesn't require much effort but makes a big difference after 60. Next time you're reheating leftovers, try this. Break the food into smaller pieces before reheating. That's it. Why? Because the biggest danger when reheating isn't always the food itself, but what's going on inside. When you reheat a plate full of food straight from the fridge, the outside may get hot quickly, but what about the middle? That's the part that stays cold longer. And those colder spots are where bacteria can survive without you even knowing it. For pot roasts, meats, and anything thick, cutting them into smaller pieces helps the heat spread evenly. It ensures that each bite gets the attention it needs. And really, it's not about being picky, it's about protecting yourself. Senior health means thinking ahead, not with big changes, but with small, smart moves like this. So take that extra 30 seconds to chop, stir, or separate. Your stomach and your peace of mind will thank you. And hey, remember that little tip we talked about? Cutting your food into smaller pieces before reheating it? It seems simple, but it's those little changes that can save you from real risks. When you start paying attention to how you reheat your food, not just what you eat, but how you reheat it, you're protecting more than just your stomach. You're protecting your strength, your balance, your recovery time, and your peace of mind. That's the whole point of today's video. After 60, it's not about being strict, it's about being smart. Some foods should never be reheated. Others absolutely should be reheated. And knowing the difference could save you a long week of discomfort or worse. So take care of yourself, stay hydrated, talk to your doctor if you feel like something's wrong. And if you found this helpful, follow HEALZO for more practical, helpful senior health tips for your everyday health. Share this with someone you care about, because staying healthy often starts with the smallest decisions in your kitchen.